Fire, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'll be doing something a little bit different. I actually got requested a couple weeks ago to do like a makeup makeup basics for a beginner video. And basically the request was to kind of pick certain parts of the face that we do our makeup on and kind of dedicate a whole video to that part of the face. So whether it's the eyes, the lips, you know, the skin or whatever, kind of just do a whole video specifically on that part of the face and basically talk through in detailed everything. So everything from what each brush is used for, how you pick colors, product placement, and things like that. And so I figured that the easiest thing to go ahead and start off with would be the eyes. Now I already have an in-depth video on my brows. I actually filmed it months ago, but it is still very accurate. I do the exact same thing. So if you haven't watched that video, then go ahead and click the link down below. Kind of talks through everything that I do for my brows. And then aside from my brows, you guys know that I usually do my eyes next. So I figured eyes would be the best thing to do next. So for this tutorial, I actually have no idea what kind of look I want to go for, which I felt like would be perfect for you guys, because I feel like, you know, what better way to show you guys what to do with the eyes than, you know, to talk you guys through it as I'm kind of putting together an entire eye look that I have no idea what I'm doing. So today I'll be using the Juvia's Place Nubian 2 palette, which looks like this. It's a really pretty palette. It has a nice mixture of nudes, matte neutrals, metallic neutrals, and then a couple pops of color in here. And like I said, I have no idea what I want to do, but I feel like this is a good way to talk to you guys through how I pick which colors to put where. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I have already gotten started on this side. I don't know if I can say, I kind of have a little bit of color here in the crease on this eye, but I'm gonna go ahead and talk you guys through this eye, kind of where I left off. So first, as you can see, I already have primed my eyelids. My go-to, you guys, always the MAC Lane Low Paint Pot. I love the paint pot over traditional primer because the paint pot is a little bit creamier and it provides a really, really nice base. Sometimes with other eyeshadow primers, it can kind of get a little, just the texture isn't the same, and I just love the way this one kind of lays down as like a real base. It's really creamy, blends out super easy, super nice, and I just love the color of it also on my skin tone. So I just go ahead, use my fingers, roll it in there, and then just kind of pack it onto my eye and then blend it out with a simple blending brush. Nothing fancy there, it's really easy. But I definitely recommend an eyeshadow base or primer before you apply your eyeshadow, because that is what's going to help your eyeshadow not only last all day, but not crease. So definitely use an eyeshadow primer. Okay, so after the primer is all blended in, you guys know that I always typically start off with a transition shade. By looking at this palette, how I know what shade to start off with first is honestly typically the one that's most like my skin tone, which easily is Madagascar. It's this brown shade here, and typically I know looking at this like, okay, you want to start off with a matte eyeshadow, matte keyword. You know, it's weird because there's not really rules to makeup. You can basically do whatever you want to do. But traditionally, in the normal traditional eye look, you will not go in with that metallic shade first, or like in the crease or like as a transition shade. You typically want to stick with the matte colors as a transition, and then from there work your way into metallics, if that makes sense. I'll explain it later, but basically your first go-to shade, at least for me, my first go-to shade is always a nude tone shade, and so I will be going in with Madagascar, and I'll be taking this Morphe M433 brush. Now this is just a simple blending brush. So I just take my brush, lightly dab it in the color, which again is Madagascar. Always tap off extra product because you don't want to get a whole lot of fallout and a lot of extra product going everywhere. And then from here, I'll go ahead and apply the color. Now whenever I'm applying my transition shades, I always have to focus it right in the crease. Now your crease is actually this part here, like this pocket of skin where your lid meets like the brow bone, so like right in there. And that's typically where I put it. So just taking it, starting on the outside. I always start on the outside because that is where the color will be concentrated the most. And you never want to just go in straight with a bunch of color in the inner corner, because if you put too much on, kind of stuck with it right there. So on the outside, it's a lot easier to blend out. You have more space to work with going out this way as opposed to going out in there. So it's always best to start and apply your color on the outer corner. So just place it and then blend it upwards into your nose. Now that's kind of my guideline that I always use, is to start the color on the outer corner and then just blend it inwards towards, not even towards the nose, but like right in here at the tip of the eyebrow. And that's how you get a really, really nice blended look. So start it and then lightly blend it out. Now here I'm using what's called windshield wiper motions. So I'm basically taking the color and blending it back and forth. And as you can see, it's blending out really easily, and it's just lightly building up that dimension and that depth that we want in our crease. So just blending it in. Out here at the corner, I'm kind of blending it outwards, just to make sure that that color is diffused and there's no harsh lines. And again, blending it inwards towards the tip of the brow. And you can make it as light or as dark as you'd like. It all depends on your personal preference. I like my transition shades to be able to show but not be too overwhelming, because I do typically layer on colors after this. So kind of just taking it, making sure that it's there and that it's bringing in that dimension but not, you know, doing too much. I'm going to add a little bit more color to this side to match the other. Again, windshield wiper motions towards the tip of the brow. And as you can see, we have our depth created and that color is there, but it's not too dark or too harsh. Another thing that I will mention, that as you saw, as I'm applying my color to my crease, it always helps to kind of raise your eyebrow, because it not only gives you more space to work with, but it also kind of shows you where everything is going, as opposed to kind of just doing like this. You can see more if it's like this. You kind of see how it'll look, the depth it's creating, where it's going, all of that good stuff. So that is our transition shades. We have that kind of down as the base. Next, I'll typically kind of go in with like a warmer color. This color here is a bit cool. And by cool and warm, I mean cool is typically something more on the grayish scale. So it is like this color, it's a brown, but it has a little bit of hint of gray under it. It has some gray undertones, so it's a little cooler. Warm is when it has more red and orange undertones. So like the Madagascar, for example, is definitely more cool. But then right next to it, you have Morocco, which is the orange, which, I mean, of course, that's a warm, but you know how you have like oranges, reds, things like that? That's more on the warm scale. So I'm gonna take just a little bit of Morocco, not very much. I'm gonna take that same Morphe M433 brush, just a little hint of it. I don't want too much because I don't want this color to be orange, or this look to be orange at all. Again, dust off the excess, and then apply a little bit of that to the crease. But now I'm not bringing the color up as much. Now that's the thing with transition shades. I kind of keep that as like my most outer color. And then I kind of work with the rest of my colors going inwards. So as you can see, I brought the color all the way up to about like right here. And I definitely don't want my orange eyeshadow up that far. So I'll focus it in the crease, but kind of keep it right below where I applied Madagascar. So I focused it more so in that lower pocket area. So kind of just focusing it. Same placement, blending it out and up towards the tip of the brow. And I'm using really, really light hand motions, you guys. Those same windshield wiper motions, using the same motion, just using really, really light ones. Real, real light, but as you can see, now we have a nice pop of that orange there. It's not too overwhelming, but you can definitely see it, but it's like a, you know, a bunch of orange. I personally believe that like with eyeshadow, I feel like tools, I mean, of course products are really important, but aside from products, I feel like tools are everything. And I learned this the hard way. And flat brushes like these, to me personally, I feel like if you need any brushes, you need flat brushes like this. Flat, dense blending brushes like this, because this is what, you know, makes your look super blended, super nice, and it's real effortless, you know? Again, keeping it in the crease, but lower than where we applied Madagascar. And then using windshield wiper motions to blend it out. So a little bit more Madagascar and just blend out that color. That's always an important step. After you apply shadow, you also want to go in and blend out those harsh edges. And here I'm just doing that with a little bit more Madagascar. So taking a little bit more on my brush and blending out those harsh lines. Now for the lid color, I don't quite know what I want to do. I'm thinking I want to do a green. Alrighty, so next I'm going to take my MAC Lane Low paint pot and a small concealer brush. Whenever I'm carving out my brows, which I'm going to do, whenever I want to carve out my brows, I always take a small concealer brush because this is really, really small and it's going to help give me the precise shape that I want for my eyes. Now I'm picking a shade to use as your base or to carve out the lid like I'm doing right now. I just go with my typical paint pot shade. You want something that's a little bit lighter than your skin tone because it is a nice base, and if you're going to add on color, having that lighter base underneath will help to make the color appear, the eyeshadow that you put on appear more pigmented. So it always helps to have a color that's a little bit lighter than your skin tone, but not too light. Don't look too crazy, y'all. I'm actually gonna change brushes. I'm gonna not use this one anymore. This one's a little bit too big for me, even though it's not even a big brush, but I want something that's a little bit smaller. So this is one of the Vanity Planet brushes. And as you can see, it's really, really small. So it's gonna be really precise. And I wanna just take that. Okay, guys, so all I did is I just created kind of a half lid. Basically, I'm sorry, I couldn't talk through it, so I'm gonna explain what I did now. Basically, the point of carving out or defining that lid is basically to create and define the lid space. So if you have hooded eyes, which I don't have hooded eyes, but if you did have hooded eyes, this is a really great way to create more lid space and have more space to work with. For me, I don't have hooded eyes, but sometimes whenever it comes to creating a very structured look, it can be a little bit tricky to kind of know where to place the product exactly. So this makes it a whole lot easier. So whenever I go in with the color, I know exactly where to put the color, where it should go, and how it'll look whenever it all gets done. So basically kind of just creating and defining your own lid space. You can make it bigger if you want to. If you have small eyes and you want, you know, more lid space to work with, you can do that. It's, you know, it's all to your preference, but this really helps to kind of define that space and know where to put the product. So that's that. I'm gonna go in with Egypt now, which is this green color down here. And I really want to do, you know, something different. So I'm gonna take this green. I never do green looks. So I'm gonna take this green on that same brush and basically just place that color where I applied the paint pot. And as you can see, so far we have a very defined lid space, so we know exactly where to put that color onto. Now, as I mentioned, like I said, I wanted to make my lid space a little bit bigger, which is why I bought the color a little bit actually above the lid. My lid actually stops here, and I bought the color, I'm sorry, the concealer or the paint pot up here. So I made that lid space a little bit larger to have more space to work with. And you could also, if you wanted to, you could bring that concealer or that paint pot all the way over and put the color all over the lid if you wanted to, and just leave it like that. I prefer half the lid, so I'm carving out half the lid and then using, like, you know, a matte shadow or whatever to blend in the outer corner. That's my personal preference, but again, it's all, you know, per whatever you know, it's all your personal preference, whatever you want to do. Okay, and this color clearly produces a lot of fallout. I'm going to take my tissue and wipe away the excess product. So like I said, if you wanted to just go ahead and skip that step and then just go straight in with your finger or with a brush or whatever and just apply that color straight onto the lid with, you know, without carving out the lid, that is also an option. I just like structured looks sometimes, so it is a lot, you know, sometimes it is easier for me to kind of just go in, carve out the lid, and then create that shape have that there, but you can do it either way. Now that that's done, I'm gonna go in with a darker shade because I do want, of course, to darken out the outer corner and also kind of darken up this area in here. So I'm gonna take my Morphe M514 brush, which is a really small tapered blending brush, and it's really good for getting into like really precise places. So I'm gonna take a little bit of, well, I'm gonna take this brush in the shade Kenya down here, which is like a dark brown right here. Swirl my brush in that color and then apply it on the outer corner. Now here the key is to blend it into the color. So you want the two colors to marry. Like so. And then blend it upwards, not bringing it up too far. And then over here, blending it inwards. So again, just blending it in towards the color because you want them to marry. So basically you don't want to be able to see where the brown starts and where the green begins. And then from here, just lightly blend that color upwards. Okay, and then also make sure you go in and blend out the outer corners. Make sure that there's no harsh lines there, especially since we added in the darker color. We want to make sure that that's all nice and blended. Same on this side, make sure there's no harsh lines. You can always go back in with that first brush, the Morphe M433, and blend out the color going upwards. You definitely don't want to bring the color up too far into the brow bone. Hence, if you can see, I'm kind of keeping it a little lower. I'm not filling in this gap in there because if you bring the color up too far, it's gonna look like a clown. So I'm keeping the color, again, right in the crease, not bringing it up into the brow bone. Just kind of focusing it right in the crease and blending it out in that crease. Really bold colors can be hard to work with. And an easy way to tone them down is to smoke it out. So to add in, you know, a light, you know, a little bit of black or like some dark browns or whatever, kind of help mute it down a little bit. So like this makes it more wearable as opposed to before I had this color on and it was just green all over and then that was it. It wasn't very wearable. This makes it more wearable for like, you know, of course something that's a little more formal like date night or a party or something like that. So that's why I did it. So I'm going to take just a simple flat brush. This is a Coastal Scents brush that's like really old. It's the BRC S51. It's just a simple flat brush. And I'm going to take out my Anastasia Beverly Hills Shadow Couture palette. This is the closest palette I have, but like any black matte will do. And I'm going to take the shade Noir, which is a matte black shade, and just really lightly take a little bit of that on this brush. Of course, dust away the excess. And just pop that, just real light, you guys, in the outer corner. Okay, and go back in with Kenya, so blend it out. And you want to kind of build it up as you go. So transition shade, maybe a warmer shade, a darker shade, and then the darkest shade. It's all about layering and blending out as you go. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and leave the eyes here. I really like this look, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest of my face. Nothing fancy, my typical normal face routine. But I'll go ahead and finish my entire face and then do my lashes because I have a video on lashes already. So if you haven't watched my how to apply lashes video, go ahead and check that out. I'll go ahead and do my face, lashes, and lips, and then come back to talk to you guys at the end. Alright, you guys, so I am back, and as you can see, I have completed my foundation routine, my contour, highlight, all that good stuff, some highlighter, popped on some lashes, and applied some lipstick. For lipstick, I know you guys are gonna ask me. I used the NYX Love Out Loud, what is this? This is a cream lipstick in the shade Fearless. It's this really, really pretty, like light lavender shade. Y'all, I'm like obsessed with it. And the formula of it, you guys, is so nice. So yeah, I went ahead and did that, popped on some lashes. For lashes, I'm using the Cocoa Goddess lashes, some of my absolute favorites. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the eyes. Typically, I like to, well, it depends on if I know what kind of look I want. Again, today I did not know what kind of look I wanted, so whenever I don't know the exact outcome I want, I'll go ahead and do like the lid crease part, or the lid crease of my eye, then the lipstick, and then save the lower lash line for last. Because if I, for example, if I had done my lipstick first, I probably would have gone ahead and done like a black liner and like smoked out the lower lash line. And had I done that, I feel like it would have been too much with the lip, because the lip is already so bold. So I'm glad I did the lip first, kind of see how I want to kind of coordinate the lower lash line. The lower lash line is really important, because with the lower lash line, you can either make it smokier, you can either keep it kind of toned down. Like right now, I can easily go just lid and crease, lipstick, and no lower lash line. Maybe some mascara, but like that's it. And it would look really nice, right? Had I done the lower lash line and like, you know, did a black liner and really smoked it out, I don't think I would have done this lip, because it is already so bold, and I would have been bold enough and it would have been clashing too much. Or I would have went ahead and done it anyways and look like a clown. So the lower lash line is really important, just to kind of keep that in mind, because it kind of will take your eye look to the next level if you wanted to. Or you can keep it simple and subtle, kind of, you know, either not do anything on the lower lash line, or just do mascara, or just do like a light. For today, like I said, I want to keep it kind of like this. I'm thinking of not doing anything on my lower lash line, because I really am liking the way the eye and the lip are contrasting. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pop on some mascara. And y'all, that's like literally how I figure out like how to do my eyes. I kind of just take a step back, look at what it looks like. I literally just take a step back, look at how it looks so far, and decide if I want to, you know, do more. Again, it's all your personal preference, you guys. I'm a little bit, I like to do, you know, bolder looks sometimes, so that's why I went with this really crazy bright purple lip. But if you are someone who's a little bit more hesitant to kind of branch out and do something as bold as this, you could have easily done like a nude lip, simple, light nude lip like this. This is the NYX Love Out Loud cream lipstick in the shade Confident, which is a really pretty nude lipstick that would have been perfect with this look. Again, it's all personal preference, you guys. Just pick what caters towards your personal taste. Again, even with like the lid color, I went and did green. You could have easily done, you know, a bronze or a gold, or something that's, you know, a little more champagne, something that's a little more neutral and toned down. That with this pretty lip, actually probably really pretty. Y'all, I'm telling you, it's personal preference, and it depends on the look you're going for at that time. It's all up to you. But again, this video is more so just for like the basics, you know, product placement, certain brushes, why do you use certain brushes, where do you put your transition shade in, where do you put your, you know, darker colors, things like that. This is more so like the basics. Now I'll stop blabbering and just go ahead and do my mascara. I'm gonna take the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise mascara and just pop this on my top and bottom lashes, because I have not applied mascara yet. And make sure that if you do apply false lashes, that you do definitely apply mascara, because mascara helps to blend in your natural lashes with the false lashes, because you'll have product and, like, you know, from the creams and the powders and things on your natural lashes. So the mascara helps to not only cover up those natural lashes, but also helps to blend them into the false lash. Okay, and then my bottom lashes. Yeah, I like that, just like that. All right, gonna let that dry real quick. And then the last thing is the inner corner. Now this is, again, personal preference. Not everyone likes color or pop of color in the inner corner. I personally do. I like inner color highlight because I like inner corner highlight because it kind of helps to brighten up the eyes and just adds a nice touch of sparkle in the center, which I really, really like. You guys know that I really like to glow, obviously. But I feel like adding that touch of color right in the inner corner kind of just helps amp up the look. And typically, whenever it comes to inner corner highlights, I've done a mixture of using actual color. I've done like teal, I've done yellow, I've done blue, I've done different colors. And then whenever I do more simple looks, I'll do like golds or champagnes, actual highlight colors. I'll just keep it simple and just do like this really pretty brown shimmer shade here. It's like a light brown. It's a shade Sheba from that same Juvia's Place palette. And I'm taking a pencil brush. This is a Morphe MB18 brush. Just kind of dabbing it into the color. And then popping that in the inner corner. And I actually want to brighten it up just a smidget, so I'm going to go in with the shade Zuri, which is a really light champagne shade. And just pop that in there as well. And apply it, and again, blend it upwards. And there's our pop of color in the center. You see how it kind of brightens up the eyes? And this adds a nice little bit of reflective color right in the center. Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, y'all, that is the final look. Again, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel right now. Like, stop what you're doing and subscribe to my channel right now if you have not already. Oh, again, don't forget to leave me suggestions down below as far as what part of the face you want to do next. Let me know what you guys want me to do next, and I will get it out for you guys. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye, guys.